The client of mine who lost the most weight did not lose that weight by training with me. She did not lose that weight by changing her nutrition. In fact, she made the worst food choices out of all my clients because she had a thing for textures. If the texture of a food was weird to her, she wouldn't eat it. Talk about frustrating. This was something that stemmed from her childhood where her parents didn't force her to, quote, eat her vegetables. So she never had to change her eating habits. And old habits die hard. And with this client, she was not budging on her nutrition one bit. When we were training, she was in her 40s. It's not like she ate an excessive amount of food. But when you want to improve a client's nutrition, you have to help them see that they can eat more food if they eat less calorically dense foods, thus being more satiated and less hungry. You try to bring them awareness of the benefits of eating whole foods. She was having none of it. We would train twice a week. In our sessions, we would do circuits of exercises with weights consisting of basic upper body and lower body movements with little rest in between. The problem was, she wasn't that coordinated with her body. When pressing a weight overhead, she would lose track of it and almost tear her shoulder. When we were squatting, she struggled with getting down deep enough. She would either half squat, or if I finally got her to squat down all the way, she would go into a full deep squat position and possibly not be able to get back up. But I'm a trainer that loves to solve a puzzle, so I put her on a bike. Yes, that's the key. I'm going to eliminate all the coordination that's involved with her body moving through space and lock her body down on a bike with her feet strapped in, so all she has to do is focus on her legs pumping up and down. This is going to work. I had solved the problem. Now, she will be able to push herself more and burn more calories during our workouts, which would help her towards her weight loss goal. But it didn't work. She couldn't push herself on the bike. She would lose focus. She didn't like biking. It was boring. We were stuck in her basement on her Peloton, the only piece of equipment that everyone bought during the shutdown in 2020. And on top of that, she wanted to be outside working out, not stuck indoors. What do you do? I had my hands full for sure, but I cared about her. I was going to figure it out. See, my client was a very interesting person. Her mind was full of interesting thoughts and ideas, and we would spend the entire session talking about movies, philosophy, politics, and comic books. That's what she really enjoyed. Thinking. She was an art major in college and was self-professed the nerdiest nerd amongst all her nerd friends. Now, how was she the nerdiest nerd amongst her nerd friends? She told me that when she was younger, in grade school, she would read the back of the toy magazines where they listed the numbered codes for each item and memorize them. I barely understand what I just said, but that's what she told me. And so, I had to agree with her personal assessment of herself. I once made the mistake of assuming that she loved the show Big Bang Theory. She laughed and said, "That show is my life with my friends. We all hate it because we live it. I like to watch things that are not exactly like my life." Wow, what a statement. So how do I get the nerdiest nerd to use her body in a way that allows her to lose the weight she desires to lose? I was the expert on this and I couldn't do it. And then she went on a trip. She was gone for a month. When she came back, she looked completely different. She had lost 25 pounds. What had she done? She walked for hours and hours a day. She had gone to Spain and walked the El Camino de Santiago. The El Camino de Santiago, the Way of St. James, is an extensive network of ancient pilgrim routes stretching across Europe and coming together at the tomb of St. James, which means Santiago in Spanish, in a town in Spain. There are multiple routes you can take on the walk, and they range from 200 kilometers to 1,000 kilometers. For us Americans, that's 125 miles to 621 miles total. So, she walked a lot of miles. And on top of that, the airline lost her luggage, so she had to walk the first week in the shoes she wore on the plane, which were her Birkenstock sandals. All this to say, this was finally the thing that got her to lose her weight. She didn't change her nutrition. She moved more. She moved so much that the daily calories that she burned from moving was drastically more than the amount of calories she consumed. Most of the pilgrimage is flat surface, so she wasn't pushing herself like she would have if it consisted of more of a mountainous terrain. She was just walking. I realized a few things from her experience. 1, everyone who is able-bodied can walk and lose weight. 2, you don't have to go to a gym to lose weight. Number 3, you don't have to pay a personal trainer, me, a lot of money to, quote, push you beyond your physical limits to accomplish your weight loss goals. 4, you might not even have to change your nutrition that much. 5, you just have to move long enough to burn more calories than you consume. In technical trainer jargon, what she did was she forced herself into a drastic caloric deficit, which is simply burning more calories than she consumed. The discrepancy for her was so drastic that it allowed her body to burn off 25 pounds of excess adipose tissue, which is just a fancy word for fat. So, here's what this personal trainer, me, will tell you that no one else will about losing weight. She didn't need me.